So last I remember, we left off right at the enemy awakening, kind of falling to the ground and beginning its process of what it's going to do. You guys are a few hundred feet due south of it at present. So I think right now we are currently basking in the light born anew across this golden sunken ruins kind of surrounding you all as the daylight greets it. This curse dismissed. All of you now have the skulker feet, and you hear the groan cries of whatever large thing this is, as it is also birthed anew to perform whatever unholy duties it has been assigned to, as it awakens, feeling the light touch all of its parts. Just a few hundred feet north. What are we all doing?
Well, we would not otherwise benefit from a short rest if Francis already has his channel divinities in place. Is there anyone else who would benefit from such an action, who thinks it might be good to take a rest here? Or are we really going to just go look and see what that terrible egg burst?
Would you rather us wait to go see to see it come to us?
No, I suppose not. It might birth more a bit.
And it was already free. And I can see.
Look, I'll feel less bad when I bring the light back then.
Seems plenty bright to me already. Oh, you're talking about your own natural talents, yes.
All right, are you all headed back to the center?
Yes, well, that makes sense to me. The creature was already coming free, it seemed like, so better to get the jump on it now.
Let's do it.
What's the marching order here? Both of you, the same setup on horseback, Francis and Plato, and then Inara and Sherrilyn. Are we just headed quick as we can?
Given what has recently transpired to another horse of our party, I think perhaps it would be better to leave the horses uninvolved.
Yes, I mean, we maybe could ride them to this strange temple in the middle and then leave them there. Or do you see something here we can tie them to?
They do not need tethering.
One of them's Grizzly. I suppose we can tether it to Hawken.
Okay, well, Grizzly may need tethering, but
The untrained one.
Barely
It's a
trained.
wild horse.
Get it? Barely
With
trained.
that, let us go.
How large was the temple in the center?
You're like a good 140 feet away from it at present. I will say, as you all tether the horses and then begin walking towards the scene, you hear kind of like that same implosion sucking sound. And then a second or two passes, and then a huge wave of darkness begins to extend from due north of your position as it spreads out again from the center. Not nearly as far. It doesn't reach your position at all. But you see this wave of intense darkness spreading from the center in your direction to the south. As a wall of darkness is put up before you.
Damn, it works fast.
Inara looks at it and goes, "We just made that bright again."
No time to waste then.
If the center temple is 120 feet, that would mean that the horses could potentially cross the full temple in one round if they use the dash action. So they could go through the full thing to the other side.
Is the temple 120 feet or is it 120 feet away?
The temple itself measures 170 feet.
So a little over 2 rounds it would take the horses to escape. If we were to have them ride straight through, I'm supposing westward towards where we knew the original safe exit to be.
Yeah, but I think you can just go around the temple, can't you? It's not like so only pass or through this. We could just send the horses around if we wanted to send them, if we think they could make it towards that place west. I agree, though, we should not bring them in to where we are going to find the terrible snake.
Alternatively, we could just leave them in this section where we have already cleansed, that we know has not become re-corrupted. That's also fine with me.
Is this open sand? Is it stone closer to the temple?
Yeah, it's stone.
Okay, so they'll be fine. There's nothing that's going to come up and eat them from underneath. They'll be good.
That we know of.
Hey, look, we must go deal with the terrible Ouroboros of terrible negative energy. We cannot also sometimes worry about the horses. I think they just cause that anxiety.
You would know.
Empathy and anxiety do go hand in hand.
So I suppose what is our marching order on foot? I would prefer to be in the back. I am good at a distance.
Of course, and I suppose you would prefer if I was in the front?
No, you can be wherever you like. I have a feeling you will be in the
Yeah, she takes a look over the party, notably not really armored or very sturdy looking individuals. Yes, yes, I suppose I will take the forefront as usual.
You are more dressed for the occasion.
Yes, we are moving forward.
I'm just saying that Sherrilyn is more dressed for the occasion.
I mean, I'm decidedly not dressed for the occasion, but I'll follow Sherrilyn.
As you all continue moving forward, you have a pretty clear line of sight as you get closer to a brand new purple orb radiating this dark shadow. The shadow itself seems to be slowly building. However, those with dark vision can see behind this field of shadow that radiates out from this new orb. That is slightly smaller than the four that you destroyed. You see behind it a massive snake-like being, a naga. Its belly's extended, its mouth all the way open, like completely open. This purple light coming out of it as you see it currently spitting out this second brand new orb, kind of basked in this shadow as it is beginning to produce and spit out this second.
We should charge it while it's disgorging.
And what do we call this creature in your land?
I don't know what that is.
Big snake? Inara looks questioningly.
Kill it.
Big snake, kill it, got it.
Is there shadow around the edge of the temple?
As you all get closer and this second orb is fully disgorged from him and we enter combat, the shadows seems to radiate with each other as it grows and grows, and this entire southern part of the courtyard, including behind you all and where the horses are, is now coated in this magical darkness.
You don't waste any time, do you?
And so these are the same orbs that we have just dispatched before.
But small.
Yeah, they're currently being replaced, you would assume and guess. These are newer ones that are coming out of this creature at present as you approach.
Plato notes the order. It was the one to the left and then the one closer to us, correct?
The one close to us was disgorged first.
Oh, it was disgorged first?
Yeah, he just
Gross.
let go of the one going to the west.
Alright. Easy. If it is anything like the patterns that the Dragonborn observed before, then attacking any other one but the first one will be very dangerous, I think.
Maybe if we just attack the source.
Oh, no, I agree. We should attack the
No, I
source.
think if it's going in the order then in which it is, then like I think it's whatever the last one that he lets out is the first one you should go after.
Why?
Because if you think about it, it went northeast, west, south.
But
Now
that
it's
was
going
only
southwest.
the last pattern, so it might change every time, right?
Yeah, but right now he's gone south and west, which is the reverse order of the original.
Okay, but more importantly, in this current moment, is anyone worried that if we do charge this creature, those things might explode when we get close to them?
That is what I was thinking of.
I did really good on initiative for the Naga. I haven't rolled for the orbs yet. Oh, it's a nat 20 for the orb, but it's no dex bonus because it's an orb.
Well, Inara got a nat 20 for her first roll of the night, so
Hell yeah.
here's to hoping that carries through the rest of the game.
Sherrilyn also got a nat 20 on her initiative.
Hell yeah!
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Let's use it all up.
I did not. So yay.
Alright, jeez.
I'll let you two run off into the wild.
I'd prefer to go earlier since this.
So my understanding is if we hit this orb, then it has that huge shockwave that it goes, I think goes 120 feet in radius.
Yeah, so perhaps we should avoid hitting them.
I was kind of thinking like just using that against a Naga.
You don't think it would be immune to damage from a magical effect that it itself has created?
Well,
consumed, and
it's
created?
not like it's a necrotic or a dark sort of effect. It literally just is force damage from the shockwave.
Did it? I thought it was necrotic damage.
Fairly certain it was just force. No, it was necrotic. That's right. Never mind. Because I remember the horses got fucking eviscerated.
I, for one, will not be stabbing any of those things with my spear and or throwing my javelins at them.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared just to leave them alone.
That's why I think that the order is the order they come out in, because then otherwise we have to wait till they all come out.
Either way, I don't believe Sirthon has enough magic left inside of him to eradicate each of these orbs, and clearly I cannot either.
He'd have to go up and attack it with the sensor, yes.
Or just say we ball and do a channel divinity, Radiance of Dawn.
then by that effect, maybe wait until it's done with this motion. She furrows her brows as she sees it doing that puking motion as it expels the orb.
We'll wait until they all get out here and then nuke it.
I don't want to wait until all the orbs get out here. I want to get rid of the orbs.
I mean, preferably we could lure it away from the orbs and then deal with the orbs as we will.
Inara, what's your dex score? You tied with the Naga.
14.
The Naga is going to go first here, as the Naga is going to finish disgorging this orb. As its body moves sickly, the scales kind of clicking and moving and shifting as they're like half shadow, half corporeal, as this being still kind of seems to be internally unraveling itself. It is massive. It is at the very top parts of its size class of large here. It is at least 10 by 10 wide, and then at least 20 feet tall here as it moves, slithering across the surface. It moves to the north here. As it begins to disgorge another orb, it is going to use its full turn to do so. As this orb comes out of this being and begins to alight the oasis anew in that direction with this darkness, this sickly, shadowy darkness. As it combines with the other two, you feel it get even darker in the southern quarter of this courtyard as it spreads throughout. And the newly summoned orb is going to join initiative. That's going to be its full turn. I will roll for the new orb. That is a 3. Inara, that's your go.
Genuinely too scared to do much. Is the Naga looking at us at all, or is it ignoring our presence?
It with your passive insight, it doesn't seem to have even sort of registered you.
It's a little insulting. Okay, so she is wearing, I don't think we described this in detail last time, but Inara did add a little sort of resin gem to the circlet that she was wearing on her head. This was made by concentrating and solidifying some of the tumor extract that she got from the jackalwares, and that's how she created her circlet of blasting. So she's going to try to gain the thing's attention and interrupt its process and hurl some fiery rays at it.
Wow, forget placenta jewelry.
Take it to the next level.
How many firebolts is that? That comes
3.
out of that? 3? Go ahead and roll those to hit.
Yeah, I think she crushes the gem, the resin gem that's hanging from her circlet, and that activates it.
Perfect. As they begin to streak across the sky, these 3 unique fiery missiles radiating from the gem dust.
18 on the first one.
Yeah, it's going to hit.
Unnatural 20 on the second. And then a 12 on the third.
Those first 2 will definitely hit.
Awesome. Okay, so fire damage for each of the first 2 hits. D6. So 7 points of damage on the first hit. And 8 on the second.
As you see the fire begin to catch into the shadow, as it slips into this mess of scales and locking shadow, that you see it kind of disperse throughout the being internally as you rock it for. You said it was 15, right?
15 points of fire damage. Yep.
Heck yeah, that's really good damage.
Does it notice us now?
You do see its back is kind of arched as it just finished this disgorging motion. As it does turn to you all at a diagonal, you see its completely black eyes cast in your direction as it kind of, as it hisses, this purple mist leaks out as you see one final orb sitting tight in its belly.
Yeah, seeing it turn towards us and also noticing the black eyes, the mist, Inara quick steps and jumps behind Sherrilyn.
So you are the beast responsible for what happened to mine eyes.
Go get him, Sher!
Quite far away.
Yeah, I know, I like it that way.
Right, Sherrilyn, that is your go.
She rolls her neck and shakes her shoulders out. She'll proceed to begin charging the Naga. And this is a very large space, so she's not going to be able to move very far. So she'll move up using her full movement, 30 feet. And she is just within range to throw a javelin at this thing. So I think as the Naga turns towards them, does it open its mouth?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I think as it opens its mouth, she'll heft the javelin forward, aiming for its forked tongue.
Fuck yeah.
Excellent. Yes, I did use my good roll on initiative because I just rolled a 2 + 4 for a 6 total.
Unfortunately, a 6 will not hit as the spear just kind of goes wide.
Sherrilyn's still getting used to having the normal eyes again.
You know, every time I have thrown a javelin, it has gone badly, except for the one time with the owl.
The only one that mattered.
Yeah.
Any bonus action?
No, she'll just stand her ground.
All right, that brings us to the orb to the south here as it pulses with this radiant darkness. Sherrilyn, will you roll me a d4?
I absolutely can. 4.
You all see a kind of tearing themselves out of the orb 4 copies of Sherrilyn, perfectly cast in shadow, that emerge and join initiative. All of them staring her down a bit. All of them emerging and tearing themselves out and immediately beginning to sprint directly at her.
I knew when he asked me to roll a d4, it would not be positive for us. Are they armed or are they just barehanded running?
They have your armaments in shadow.
See, I should have just stood my ground instead of charging.
No, it's good to have a vanguard in moments like this. Seriously. Fuck.
She turns around and looks 30 feet behind her and sees her companion standing back there. Oh, is it?
Plato looks worried.
With that brings us to Francis.
Man, this just made things very complicated. So the orb is not moving.
The orb is not moving. It stayed still, and it seemed to create these shadows.
Okay. Slightly less worried about the shadows.
You're less worried about the shadows of myself.
Well, the last one that we did see was quite the Cavalier of the Shadows.
Yes, but this is a veritable army of me's.
That is a scary thing to think. Francis is going to take out his sensor and kind of look between Inara and Plato. It's like, you two focus on the Naga. I'm going to assist Sir Staldo with these hers. And he is going to use his movement to walk up. Well, yeah, move up kind of beside and behind Sherrilyn. And then with that, he is going to look at the 4 Sherrilyns now running at him and her. And he is going to cast Sacred Flame on the foremost one.
Yeah. Is that a dex saving throw?
Dex
Con
save.
saving throw? I always forget. Dex, absolutely.
And here we
that is gonna
find
be-
ourselves again.
Yet
That's
again,
going to be a 5.
he will fail.
Awesome. As you know, these things hate radiant damage, so go ahead and roll that for me.
Can hear Francis's walk.
That's going to be 8 damage.
It's going to be doubled to 16, which, let me double check real quick. 16, that number sounds important to me for some reason. Why does it sound? Oh yeah, it's because it's total max HP. What does that look like?
Yeah, so Francis kind of just like is going to like run up behind Sherrilyn. And as he does, he's going to look at one of them. And he's going to, with the sensor in hand, in like a slingshot fashion, at him, and just like this one pillar of light kind of like descends on him like a spotlight, and he just evaporates.
These creatures are not a reflection of mine own aptitude. I want to make that very clear.
All the times to do that.
So Stalda, now is not the time to be very vain. And then I'm going to use my bonus action to initiate the love juice coming from the sensor.
Yeah, as the sensor activates and connects to Francis's inner being, it begins producing its own smoke without any incense or seemingly burning matter as Francis himself charges it with this divine radiance as it begins to leak out around him. This smokiness that emerges with like refracted light coming out of it. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep, that'll be my turn, and I'm going to give myself 1d4 health at the end of it.
Absolutely. As you feel the belief in yourself that you can defeat these enemies. As this second orb that was placed goes on initiative 13 here, it lets out this massive 30-foot pulse of darkness around it, hitting none of you, but as it does hit the Naga itself, the Naga seems to regrow some of that shadow displaced by fire.
What did I say?
As this darkness seems to heal it.
I don't know, Sir Stalder, you say a lot.
With that is Plato's turn.
Oh, I look over at Inara and I say, he told us to deal with Zanaga, and then Francis goes and does his turn, and then he says, it's tough because then he does the very confidence-inspiring thing after telling you to do the insane thing. No. So I'm going to move up the stairs in sort of a cross Inara direction. And I'm not even going to get that far. I'm going to sort of... looking at the back of the Naga, I roll my shoulder, sort of my version of Sherrilyn's neck cracking movement. And I say, let's see what's in there. And I hold my hand out to the Naga, and we see the Lichtenberg figure light up. And as it flares, Plato almost flinches as he tries to cast Tasha's Mind Whip. If I could get an intelligence saving throw.
Yeah, what's the distance on that?
It's 90 feet.
Jesus, I don't think this thing's very intelligent. Okay, it's not too bad. All right, that's going to be an 11 on the die, plus 3 for 14 total.
Damn. It'll take the half damage, unfortunately, but I will not be able to do any of its cool effects. That will be fine. Oh, it's okay. That will be 11 points down to 5. A bit chagrined at this not working and wanting to do a bit more damage, I will then use a sorcerer's point to quicken a casting of Eldritch Blast, also quite possible at this distance.
Perfect, roll to hit.
What are you saying? They're not very intelligent. That sounds like they have higher intelligence than actual Sherrilyn.
Well, they're good at other stuff, better at other stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's my nat 20. You all got your nat 20 on the initiative, but Plato waited.
I still wait on mine.
So that will be 5. So another 15 points of damage. So 20 total once a turn.
Yeah, that's fucking massive. As a huge chunk of this creature is hit by the Eldritch Blast, and you expect it to kind of like half pass through, like these attacks have been through with the shadow, but as it makes contact, it just completely blows apart the solid part of the Naga that is like this scale and reptilian creature. It just gets blown off this creature completely, as a lot of, mostly just the shadow remains. Its shell destroyed by this incredibly powerful blast.
That's something. And yes, that was bonus action and my movement to get over there. And if there's any shadow, I suppose I will try and make one with the shadow near me, but that's all I can do.
Right, that brings us to the orb at the top here, which is also going to pulse out with a purple light that kind of, in the 30-foot radius, none of you are in it, and you're not sure what it did. With that, it brings us to the shadow, or to the Naga's turn. As you see it exhale, it breathes in for just a second, and a piece of this black crystal tears itself away from its body. And as you see it kind of glow, it spins for a second, and there's this beautiful inlaid sapphire that is kind of crafted together. Plato, I think at once you recognize this, even from a distance here in shadow, as an etherite relic, an artifact infused with ether. The ether itself kind of very noticeable surrounding this blue crystal. And as it spins in the air, this massive blade of dark water emerges. You can see the water kind of slashing around. The same dark water present throughout the oasis turns into this massive water scimitar that kind of floats in the air next to the Naga. As it commands this blade to fly directly at you all, it is going to finish moving over here as it is going to disgorge the fourth orb, using the rest of its turn.
Who gave the snake a sword?
There are Perian legends about this, serpents with swords.
Yeah, what do they say? Stay away from...
Yep, they say don't go near the serpents with the swords.
Yeah.
It's a kid's bedtime story.
Luxorians and Perians, sharing this wisdom.
You can both take inspiration for that. All right, with the fourth one disgorged and joining in initiative 2, that brings us to the end of the Naga's turn, and back to Inara.
Oh, I don't like this at all. Realizing she can't avoid it anymore and seeing everyone move forward, Inara begrudgingly follows. She's going to approach the stairs, stop 30 feet from her original position. Remembering Francis's instruction to deal with the Naga, she goes, I'd really rather deal with the shadows, but okay.
Leave the shadows of myself to me, my lady.
You sure? Because I really don't mind switching. If you want to take the big scaly thing, I could take the little versions of you.
I think it's better for us all that I do not get closer to these things that are pulsating.
Do not worry, Inara. I will keep Sir Stardust safe from herself.
Okay, so yeah, she's gonna approach the 30 feet. She's still too far to do anything with any of her actual daggers. So yeah, she's going to approach as much as you can and fire out a firebolt at the big snake. And that will be a natural 20 to hit.
Fuck yeah.
You're kidding, we hate the snake.
Bad snake.
Burn, bitch, burn.
So that's like 4. That's like 4 natural 20s.
Yes. Go ahead and roll that damage and then add the maximum damage possible from the die
I'm
result.
so scared.
So 10 plus 9.
Hell yeah. I mean, 19 points of fire damage is fucking amazing as it courses throughout. Just this shadowy wisp form of the Naga remains. As you guys think you've already bloodied it with this opening blow of natural 20s and incredibly tight forecast blast here as Sherrilyn and Francis hold against the shadows.
You made our dice so afraid of a TPK. They were like, we do not want a TPK. And the dice leapt forward like small warriors to defend us.
We've all been blessing them before the game.
Have you? I haven't. I've been insulting them and telling them to do better.
Tough love versus kindness.
Whatever works, I guess.
Right, hell of a turn. Any bonus action?
No,
All right.
no, I'm good for now.
All right, that brings us to Sherrilyn.
For fear of coming off like a coward, I think Sherrilyn will declare, Sir Thon, with me. We'll make them come to us. And she's going to just move slightly to the right so that her back is kind of towards this ledge that's here, this like half wall. I imagine, come quickly, she would say to Francis, and stay behind me. And she's probably going to take a defensive action here and hoping that the shadows are going to come to her, unless I need to use my action to maybe perhaps taunt them. Do they look keen on me?
Oh yeah, they're definitely headed directly towards you still.
Oh, then yes, I will raise my shield and use a defensive action here.
Sounds good. Absolutely. Any bonus action?
Nope, that will be my full action.
All right. With that, it is the orb closest to you all's turn, the one to the south here. With that, Inara, will you roll me a d4?
Please not follow Sherrilyn's footsteps.
I mean, not exactly. That was a 3.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Yeah, as you see tearing forth from the orb once more, 3 perfect copies of Inara, all silhouetted in shadow, head in her direction as they also join the initiative order.
Oh no. She turns and looks at Plato. We got company.
So perhaps if we cannot destroy these orbs one by one, lacking the resources, we nuke the snake?
I mean, I hope that works. It might not be able to be killed if the orbs are still here.
Pray just kill it quicker than the rest of these things can kill me. All right, she's banging against her shield.
Francis, that's your go.
Man, I can be really bold / stupid at this point.
Oh no, Boopid?
I have fucking Radiance of Dawn right now.
That's you. Oh my god, you'd have to run so close.
I have to go up there. And Sherrilyn has decided that, no, we're going to let them come to us.
I'm not that smart, but I am not stupid. You could hold it until they arrive over here, but we have no guarantee that would happen, and then it would still be expended.
So instead, seeing kind of the impact that the fire spells have had on a Naga and going against his own advice at this point, Francis is going to sidestep with Sherrilyn, looking at the Naga, and then he is going to cast Scorching Ray on a Naga as well. Say 25, 22, and another 22.
All right, yeah. Yeah, all three of those is definitely gonna hit as the light spreads from your sensor. These three firebolts fly through the air. Go ahead, roll damage.
We hate snakes.
Hate it.
We hate.
The first one's
snakes.
going to do 8 damage.
Hell yeah.
That's the name of our group. We hate snakes.
Second one's going to do 6.
Hell yeah.
And the third one's going to do 10.
This shadow continues to diminish, smaller and smaller, just kind of a slither of it. More snake-like now instead of Naga-like, as this shadow kind of condenses itself to try and maintain its form, as this fire just continues to burn away the essence of life that is inside of it here. It looks very hurt.
I'm just going to take my healing from the wonderful smoke.
Heck yeah. All right, with that, it brings us to 2 of the Inara shadows. They're actually both going to be able to reach Inara this turn. As Plato, you see 2 of these shadow Inaras just tear themselves out of this orb, and both of them just begin dead sprinting towards her. As like a flash, they travel through the shadow created by the orb and make it to her. You see them both kind of storm her. They are going to both use their strength drain attack, as they envelop her and try to drain the essence from her directly. All right, these are both going to be +4. I rolled a 19 on one die, and the other one is cocked. Let me reroll that. All right, that's lower, but that's okay. That's a 5 +4, so I got a 9 and a 23.
Yeah, the 23 hits, the 9 does not.
All right, that is going to be 9 points of necrotic damage, and your strength is reduced by 4. That's both of their go, which brings us to the orb to the west here, which is going to pulse with its healing dark light. And the Naga is actually not close enough to receive the healing at present, so it is not going to do anything, as the Naga is currently out of that 30-foot radius sphere. So that is its turn, which brings us to one of the... Shadow does go first, as one of the Shadow Sherrilyns clears its way out of the orb and is able to close the distance with Sherrilyn. It's going to attempt to use its strength drain attack. This is going to be at disadvantage, as Sherrilyn took the defensive action. All right, that is a 16 +4 for a dirty 20.
That will hit.
That is going to be a total of 6 points of necrotic damage. And, Jesus, that's going to be 4 from your strength score.
Not great. The shield's feeling a little heavier now than it was previously.
As you feel this thing just connect with you, blocking it in your defensive posture, as its arm just goes directly through, connecting with your neck as you feel it just drain the life out of you. You grow weaker and weaker. Plato, that's your go.
You said the shadow creature was not looking good. Well, I'm really hoping that as soon as all the shadows get close, Francis is going to light himself up like a candle and destroy everything within 30 feet. So I'm going to keep doing what he told me to do, which was attack the Naga. And in doing that, I'm going to try and cast. You see me, I readjust my arm, I focus again. You see the creeping electric blue Lichtenberg crackles crawling up sort of his neck as he tries to focus hard enough to hit him with the Tasha's Mind Whip.
Oh yeah, that's the intelligence saving throw?
Yes.
Ooh, that is a 5 +3.
Yes.
8 total.
My save is a 13, so it fails. So it will first take the full 3d6 damage, which will only be 8 damage this time around fully. But it can't take a reaction until the end of its next turn. And on its next turn, it must choose whether to move, take an action, or a bonus action. It can only do one.
Yeah, that's crazy. It finally summoned all of its orbs. It had stuff it wanted to do next turn. It finally had an action it could take.
Plato is like standing there trying to like harmonize with it, like get his arm to sort of like radiate or sort of exist on the same magical wavelength, and he like locks into it, and you see the creature just sort of wheel as he manages to get a grip on its mind, and then I'm going to use my...
I'll even say this blue crystal that's within the sword that's floating around him, it serves as a connection point much easier than you're expecting. It seems to amplify your magic here, as it like serves as a midway point to connect this. As he's going wild, the crystal seems to glow, mimicking your energy.
Yes, I think as it glows, you all see the strange, faint shape, the ghost of the nervous system that is the Lichtenberg figure, almost connect me to it as I use my bonus action to metabolize my last 2 sorcerer points back into a 2nd level spell slot. As like me and the crystal seem to sort of zing, which is from Hotel Transylvania.
All right, that brings us to a round of shadows. The first one heading directly towards Inara is able to close the distance here as it just runs directly through the other shadows. It isn't able to get a flanking or anything, just to be a straight d20 roll here. That's going to be a 6 on the die plus 4 for a 10 total on Inara.
That doesn't hit.
All right, that brings us to the other 2 shadow Sherrilyns, who are both sprinting directly towards her and able to close the distance as well. Both of them are going to be taking their strength chain attack at disadvantage, as Sherrilyn is still very much taking the defensive action. All right, that's a 3 and a 9. Neither of those will hit. And then for the second one, that's a 3 and a 16. The 3 plus 4 will not be enough to hit Sherrilyn, as maintaining her defensive action, even in her weakened state, she's able to block the oncoming blows from these Shadowlyn blades.
Bad that this is a working strategy for us, maybe.
You are nothing but cheap imitations.
Never mind, she seems fine with it.
Do not encourage her.
Fucking not, Inara says as she's surrounded by 3 of her own versions.
Nora!
All right, the other 2 orbs are both going to pulse out, one with a white light to the right here in a 30-foot radius, and then the one to the north here with a purple light in a 30-foot radius. Both of them hit the Naga, who seems unbothered. No one is sure what this affects to at present. With that, we are at the start of initiative again with the Naga, who is going to focus its turn to take an action. Sherrilyn, it looks you deep in the eyes as the source of the thing that cursed you.
I just got these things fixed.
You see its mouth open, and inside of it you catch this spark, this dark void with glimmers of gold cutting through. And as you stare into that, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw as it casts a 5th level dominate person.
That sounds like a very important check to pass. So everybody please cross your fingers for me. That's only going to be a 10 plus 2 for 12.
Dude, yeah, take my inspiration, please.
Inara, you see Sherrilyn is looking at you as you're being surrounded by shadows with the full intention. You know by the look in her eye that she wants to come and rescue you.
You watch as her left eye turns completely black and looks violent as your hope fills her with inspiration.
That'll be a 13 plus 2 for a 15.
Is definitely higher.
Is it high enough?
It is absolutely high enough to succeed.
God.
As
You had us there for a
Inara's
second.
inspiration, he attempted to turn Sherrilyn against you to join the Shadow Sherrilyn army, but Sherrilyn, you're just able to resist utilizing Inara's inspiration.
She'd shake it off, or her blinking rapidly such that her eye would return to normal.
It can't move back into the healing radius because of the mind whip, and it can't use any bonus action to swing this massive spiritual water sword that it seems to have created because of the Tasha's mind whip.
Locked in a mind battle with me.
As it is locked in a mind battle, it was attempting to turn Sherrilyn. It was going to use Sherrilyn to attack Plato. As you saw these commands of attacking Plato cast through your head, Sherrilyn, you resist. That brings us to the end of the Naga's turn and to the start of Inara's. Inara, you have 3 shadow Inaras all wrapped around you right now, almost drowning you in their darkness. What do you do?
I can still move though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so she, seeing that not only she's surrounded, but so is Sherrilyn, and she's right by her, Inara sort of does like a artful spin, seemingly trying to shake off the shadows, but she's also trying to activate her robes as they start to glow and shimmer, and that bright light starts to emanate in a 30-foot radius around her. Before she takes her first turn, she calls out to the party, "Cover your eyes, look away," and hoping that also draws the attention of the shadow creatures around them.
This is a practiced maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
Cover thine eyes.
Is that really the first thing in our playbook? Cover your eyes while Inara does the sexy dance?
One day I will be permitted to watch.
It's a con saving throw?
Wisdom.
Wisdom saving throw. All right.
DC 15.
One of them is going to fail. The one to the south, or the southernmost one here, definitely fails. One of them is going to succeed. That's a natural 20. The two to the north here will succeed. They're kind of through you at this point, like physically, and their line of sight is to the side here. As the lights begin to surround you, you see both of them damper the light show on this side as they're able to maintain this darkness and resist your dance. However, the one to the south is completely stunned, as it seems to reflect these colors in itself.
Inara, have it reflect in mine armor.
Oh god.
Well, how big's the radius on that?
30 feet.
Okay.
It is dazzlingly splendid armor, after all.
All right, both of you, these shadows swarming you have disadvantage on you. That's great. We'll see if that continues with Sherrilyn's turn, whether or not she takes another defensive action. Nora, anything else on your go?
No, unfortunately not.
Sherrilyn, that's your go.
Sherrilyn may be losing strength of person, but she is still empowered by strength of will. And she doesn't remember the last time that she's ever felt this weak, perhaps before she began training to be Inquisitor. But she finds a strength from deep within herself as she is rooted firmly here in this place, stalwart with the intention of defending her party. I don't think that it's wise for Sherrilyn to leave this position at all, because she would be provoking, 2, because she can't move through the enemy. So she would be provoking at least 2 attacks of opportunity, and it would still open then her up to being flanked, which is not wise either. Damn, she doesn't really have anything offensive, and her strength score has been nuked. So I think from her perspective, being surrounded by these creatures and being in a semi-enfeebled state, I think she's probably determined to just stay where she is and defend their cleric as well as she can. So she's just going to take the dodge action and stay where she is.
With that, it is the orb's turn. Plato, will you roll me a d4?
Sure, why not? Well, I'll tell you why not. I don't have any of the little spiky bastards.
Wait, you don't like impaling yourself every time you roll?
No, you know what's terrible to think of is that means they're free around my room somewhere.
It's the adult's Lego.
It's a caltrip.
Okay, a 1. Thank goodness.
Yeah, as a singular Plato tears itself free with this like kind of shadowy water-like arm, tearing apart the orb for just a second as it emerges, lands to the ground, and joins initiative as it's going to begin heading directly towards Plato. Joins at initiative 7. That brings us to initiative 19, which is going to be Francis.
Alright, well, I think that we have enough shadowy buddies around us at this point. So, yeah, seeing as they have fully surrounded both Sherrilyn and Inara and a singular Plato on the way, Francis is going to take a moment to kind of like hone himself in. He's going to cast Radiance of Dawn with his Channel Divinity. I like to imagine that he is still using the dual holy symbol of the censer and his rosary beads. And like as the smoke is coming out of the censer and he starts like spinning around in like a like ceremonial like circle, he will channel like the light into the smoke itself as the smoke kind of like spreads beyond the 10-foot radius and like expanding out to 30 feet. And like once it hits that point, he will then kind of like snap to and like raise the censer up. Instead of the light coming from above, it kind of like rises from the ground and pushes the darkness out of that cylinder area.
Oh yeah, as all of the shadows feel this immense light, as it starts displacing them. I got a 15, a 9, a 5, a 13, a 16, a 3, and a 19.
The 15, 16, and 19 save, the rest fail.
All right. That is one of the Inaras that's going to save, one of the Sherrilyns that's going to save, and then the brand new Plato saves as well. Well, it might not matter, though. Let's see how much damage they take.
Does it hit the orb?
It does. However, the orb is not a hostile creature and is not susceptible to this attack.
So that's going to be 12 radiant damage to all who failed and 6 to those who saved. But seen as doubled, it's going to be 24 to the failed, 12 to the saved.
Yeah, so everybody who failed is immediately popped as this light completely displaces them. As you see them just for a moment, their bodies kind of stretch into this black light and then completely get blown apart as the light lifts them up and eliminates them. As the only ones that remain are one Sherrilyn, one Inara, and one Plato, very, very, very badly hurt. Just kind of scraps of shadow, almost losing the forms of you all, as there's not enough of the shadow remaining to maintain them. Just 3 of those remain as Francis's attack clears the field.
Seeing that the field is now much more illuminated and that a lot of the threats are not gone, he is going to side shuffle himself closer to Inara so that she can benefit from the senses smoke.
All right, with that brings us to the remaining shadow of Inara. With all of this darkness, this magical darkness dispelled around you in a 30-foot radius and the bright sunlight coming down, these attacks will be made at disadvantage because of sunlight sensitivity. It's going to be a 14 on the first roll and an 18 on the second. So it's going to be a 14 plus 4 for a dirty 18.
I will cast Silvery Bobs.
Sounds good. Rolling it again here. That is going to be a 7 plus 4 for an 11 total.
Doesn't hit.
Plato sees how weak Inara is from the drain, and he pulls his hand up, looking through it to select the future where she is not harmed.
We enter that future as Inara is not harmed.
I've got a couple first level spell slots.
Which brings us to the orb here, which does its healing pulse, and again, oh, wait a second. Haha! Unfortunately, within 30 feet, the Naga is not, as this healing pulse radiates. However, Shadow Plato is, as the Shadow pulse echoes throughout it. The Shadow Plato is built back together as he's going to be healed for some HP here. However, the Naga, locked in place by the Mind Whip, still very much not in the healing radius. Which brings us to the Shadow. They have slightly higher dexterity of Sherrilyn that remains. The Shadow of Sherrilyn that remains is going to be attacking at disadvantage because of the defensive action, as it is still just locked into Sherrilyn, trying to drain the life out of her. It's going to be a 12 and a 17. 12 plus 4 is a 16 to hit.
Okay, that will not hit as she is still holding her shield.
Amazing. Yeah, the defensive action and the sunlight allowing you to maneuver away from these Shadow Sherrilyn strikes. Plato, that's your go.
All right. Well, I don't like the look of this Plato that's coming towards me, and I know I'm supposed to be attacking the Naga, but I just can't help it when I see enemies lined up in a sweet little line. I step forward, I look to my right, and I see 2 shadows, a shadow of Inara and a shadow of Sherrilyn. I aim to the left of them, and I will cast a first level Tasha's called Caustic Brew. There's been sort of like these drips from the ceiling, and sort of whenever he walks through the ground, sometimes he's gathered this water in one of his arms, and it's gross. And it sort of looks like a lava lamp as it moves through his arm. It's now, you see it brighten with the electric blue color of Essa as he pushes the arm forward, and it flies out in a deluge of acid on these 2 shadows. If they could give me dexterity saving throws. Did you say those were at disadvantage in the sunlight?
They sure are. That's going to be a 1, but I'll re-roll. It was 12. I don't know why I re-rolled it. Obviously, just to get the roll out. That's a nat 20, but it does have disadvantage. So the first one fails. The second one, 16, and it's dex save, you said?
Yeah, I think that does pass.
Yeah. The first one definitely fails. The second one is actually going to succeed.
All right, well, I'd hoped that done more, but those will take that damage on the beginning of their turn. I'm hoping they're pretty hurt, so they won't last very long with it.
They are pretty hurt.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna, seeing that Plato and getting my line, I'm gonna step a few feet back again. I don't need to, you know what I mean. I can hit the guy from further away, and that'll be my go this time.
All right, that brings us to the orb to the north here, which is going to pulse out again. You do note this time the pulse is a little bit brighter with this bright purple light. It actually goes for 40 feet. However, none of you are still in it, so it does not do anything at present, which brings us to the orb to the east here, which is also going to pulse out just a little bit brighter with its black light. And again, going a little bit further to the 40 feet, but nobody is in its range as you all retain your position to the south here. Top of initiative order, again, with the Naga. It still isn't mind whipped, right?
It is free now. That is only on its on the turn after, so when I cast a spell on.
Perfect. You see that how much that spell scarred me in the short time we had with it, because now I'm so paranoid. Okay, with that, that's going to be the Naga's turn. The Naga is going to use its movement. You see it like slithers with all of its remaining shadowy speed to wrap itself around the orb that we know to heal, as it kind of just starts enveloping the ball with its body, with its movement. With its bonus action, you see this massive blade of dark water, and it is commanded to move forward and begin its attack. As you see, it slices directly through the air here. It creates this wave of water that cuts through the air, and I need a dexterity saving throw from Sherrilyn, Francis, and Inara.
That's an 8 for Sherrilyn.
14 for Francis.
16 for Inara.
Francis and Inara will save. Sherrilyn will not. As you all, Sherrilyn, you're going to take 6 points of bludgeoning damage. Inara and Francis, you both take half, which is going to be 3. And Sherrilyn, you are also knocked prone from the intense pressure of this wave created midair by this ethereal, massive blade of dark water.
She's sort of knocked backwards against this half wall, and there's a loud clattering as the metal of her breastplate slams into it, and she's bent kneed, little wibble wobbly, trying to catch herself on that ledge.
Then that brings us to the Naga's action, and she is going to, her eyes intently stare as she eyes down Sherrilyn again, finding a more than worthy opponent as she was able to resist this. She turns to Francis, who unknowingly, of course, is better at resisting this, but she doesn't know that. As she eyes down Francis, this bringer of light who has desecrated her temple, who has eliminated what she's working so hard to create. And Francis, she looks you dead in the eyes as your eyes begin to go black. I need a wisdom saving throw. She casts a 5th level dominate person.
I don't like you. 21.
Yeah, you easily have more than enough wisdom and willpower to resist, as that's going to be her full turn, which brings us to Inara.
Okay. Seeing as it's been working well for her so far, Inara is going to firebolt the shadow version of herself that is left.
Yeah, that will be at disadvantage just because she's in melee range.
Oh, true. I forgot about that.
Is that one covered in acid, or is the other one covered in acid?
It is.
Oh, okay. So that one might die at the beginning of its next turn.
This isn't the stunned one though, is it?
The stunned one is dead now.
The stunned one is dead. Well, seeing as it's covered in acid and Sherrilyn is prone, can I firebolt the one that's hovering over Sherrilyn instead?
Of course.
Yeah. So she's gonna do that, remembering how goopy the jackal wears got. She believes in Plato's acid completely. Oh, nice. That was a 19 on the die, so it's a 24 to hit.
Definitely hits.
For 10 points of fire damage.
Fuck. Yeah. This one barely had any life remaining after Francis's light. 10 is more than enough to send it to the great beyond, as Inara's flame kind of consumes it whole and burning all around the edges until just a little bit of blackness remains at the center, and it too burns and then falls to the ground as ash.
Anyone just looking at Inara sees her sigh in relief, very visibly, because watching Sherrilyn go down again, she was very worried. And I think that's going to be it for her turn. She doesn't want to move closer to any of these things.
Okay, that brings us to the orb to the south. With that, Francis, will you roll me d4?
How is the Naga looking? Good, bad?
I mean, you see it spreading itself thin as it's completely wrapped around the orb with the healing pulse, like curling around it defensively. It looks very, very hurt.
Good. 1.
Perfect. As just another single Francis emerges from the shadow orb in front of you all, heading a direct path as you see it locks eye contact with the original.
Well, wait, maybe it'll turn and help us.
That's actually fun. It rolled a 19, so it would go next, but or it'll go alongside Francis, actually. Sherrilyn is up next, also at initiative 20.
Okay, well, she's extremely low on resources, and even more so now that she's using half of her movement to get up out of prone. She finds her hand on the ledge and pulls herself up, renewing her grip on her armaments. With the shadow Sherrilyn in front of her now vanquished, I think she will now take this opportunity to move in the defense of the Lady Inara. Her sword is much heavier than usual, so we've got half movement, not very good at hitting things, running low on options, one spell slot. So I think instead she'll use the option for her channel divinity, which is Watcher's Will here, as she sees the gaze of the Naga sliding from her over to Francis, and she would see him having to resist this creature much as she did. She would feel the inherent danger that that would pose to other members of their party. So she's going to invest Inara, Plato, and herself with the wording power of the Watcher. And for the next minute, the three of them will have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws.
Fuck yeah. With that brings us to the newly birthed Francis Shadow. Have enjoyed. Oh, no, sorry, Francis, what's your dexterity?
+2.
Oh, you're going to rollies. Go ahead and roll me a d20. Who gets to jump quicker? You or Shadow Francis? As Shadow Francis begins sprinting, I got a 16.
I have 14. So he would go first.
As you look up, he sprints at you, is able to close the 30 feet distance here, and he's going to try and drain your life essence as he makes an attack at disadvantage running into the sunlight. Oh, that's in that 20. I can't have anything. Oh, 16 plus 4 for a dirty 20.
That will hit.
Sherrilyn will intercept.
To see how this works. Am I draining your strength now?
May have, in hindsight, probably not the best idea for me, but better me than him, I suppose. She says, lacking confidence in that answer.
Alright, as you jump in front of him.
Halfway through, she's like, maybe this wasn't a good idea.
Let's see how much you block. If you block the full thing, I'm not going to drain the strength here, because the whole thing will be blocked by Sherrilyn. How much you blocking of it?
6.
That is only 1 point of damage goes through. I'm so sorry, Francis.
I appreciate your valiant efforts, Stalda.
And that's going to be -3 to Francis's strength score. And 1 necrotic damage. As you feel this essence drain from you.
Please, Sir Thon, when has that been relevant for you in any combat so far?
With that, it is Francis, your go.
Hey, I can have my moments of swinging.
Your rosary beads to cast a spell.
And cast a spell I will. Despite having him now staring himself in the face, Francis is going to see the Naga coil around the orb and noting the fact that that same orb, when it pulsed, healed Shadow Plato.
Shadow, please.
Don't make a name for it. Don't name it.
It's Shadowlyn and Shadow.
So here's my mentality. One, we know, at least from previous experience, that if I hit the orb with any radiant damage, it just goes away.
I think only the first orb, though. We have to do them in order, remember?
That's the risk right now. Is like, it's not in order.
Because it's the south one was the first one, right?
That's right, yeah.
And it went south, east, north, west, so it went in a different order than before.
Yep. So Francis is going to ignore the shadow in front of him, and he is going to cast Guiding Bolt at 2nd level at the Naga.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to use my inspiration on that one. That is a 22.
That definitely hits. And Francis, the minimum damage this can do is 4d6, right?
That's right.
Right. Go ahead and roll it for me. But minimum damage does kill here.
Nice! Purified that slithering bitch.
The Naga looks very weak as the bolt is torn for it. You can see the mouth kind of open. This glimpse into this void filled with these sparks of gold as the bolt travels through the air.
That's 23 points damage because it's actually 5d6 at level 2.
Oh my god, amazing. As the entire creature, for a second, all at once, just flickers out, just completely disappears. And then a second or two later, you see a small, dense black orb appear in the center of the courtyard here.
And the shadows still remain.
The shadows still remain.
But it is smaller.
Yeah, it looks like a much smaller version of the thing you all first encountered. The like kind of uncoiling large circular orb. It looks like a very miniature version of that.
Dang, alright. After supposedly getting rid of the beast, Francis is just going to hold his ground.
What happens to its sword?
Great question. As in front of you, as this creature flashes and disappears in that same exact moment to the due south, like a crash of thunder, this massive sword of water falls to the ground, the water quickly dispersing, and as it falls and hits the ground, it splits into two pieces. This etheric like gemstone falls, clatters to the ground, rolls away a little bit, and then this beautiful, ornate, golden hilt remains. This hilt of this beautiful sword. And as it kind of falls, it's polished and it kind of simplifies and it's more rod-like in nature as it loses its connection to this etheric creature. It resembles more like the base of like a spear or like a metal pole, just the first part of it, as it too rolls away, kind of as they completely split apart and head in different directions here. Both falling to the ground, just a few 5 feet or so from where the sword once was.
All right. So the sword is neutralized, but the orbs and the shadows are still here.
That appears to be the case.
Also, Sherrilyn and Inara, don't forget to do 1d4 healing from the smoke.
That brings us to Inara's shadow, as it's going to swing out at Inara at disadvantage due to the sensitivity to the
It's
sunlight
not.
around.
Wait, acid damage.
Acid damage first. Thank you so much for the reminder. How much acid damage is it? Will you roll it for me?
Yeah, it's going to be 6 acid damage, 4 plus 2.
That is more than enough, as what remains of this is completely melted apart, even with its resistance. Not enough to maintain its life, as it only had the 2 HP remaining. As you melt it away, it does not get to take its turn. Which brings us to the orb that heals. As it pulses out its healing light, the Naga unaffected, as it is no longer alive or within range of this orb pulse. Which brings us to Plato.
All right. So we have what's these remaining shadows here, and we have the orb over there. This is a Francis one and the Plato one. Does the Plato one look much hardier now that after it was healed?
Not much hardier, but hardier. The Plato one took a lot of damage from that strike. It barely remained. So even with the healing it got, it doesn't look that sturdy at all.
Well, I see it over there, and I think, oh man, that thing's gonna come right at me, which I do not want. And I think almost reflexively, you see like a spine of wait, make sure. Oh, yeah, it's 120 because of my spell sniper. You see a spine of ice shoot up the top of his arm, and he is going to cast a ray of frost on the father Plato to see if he can harm it and reduce its movement. So that'll be a +5 to hit. Oh, but I've rolled a natural 1. Never mind. Never mind, everyone. It had to. We had the 20s. It had to happen eventually.
+1.
Yeah, and I think like spooked, I sort of back up a little bit, even further away from what's happening.
Yeah.
And I look at the shadows and I say, "Are we doing orb things now? Or is it orb time?"
With that, the Plato shadow is going to have to use its action to dash as Plato moved back further as it sprints towards him, using all of its movement.
Try something like that. I saw it in its shadowy eyes.
Brings us to North Orb, which pulses now 50 feet radius, which still is not enough. Enough to light anyone here as these orbs continue to grow in power. That brings us to the other orb, which does the same thing, but in that other color as it pulses forth 50 feet. None of you are affected as you still remain out of the range. All right. The Naga defeated and receded into this kind of dark shell at the center of the oasis here. The weapon that it was using, this massive ethereal blade created of water, fell apart into these two pieces, this kind of hilt and this gemstone that scattered to the ground just 20 or so feet in front of you all, as Francis squares off against the one remaining shadow in his image, and Plato does the same with his own. Inara, it is your go. Sherrilyn on deck, the orb that spawns shadows following shortly after. At present, the only threats are these two shadows and the orbs in front of you, as the Naga has been fully routed. With that, Inara, it is your go. What would you like to do?
Do either of the shadows have any status effects? I remember there was one that was stunned, but I think we beat that one. That was one of my own shadows.
He's super dead. He got all burnt up by Radiant.
The stun one is dead, and the acid one has also perished.
You're right.
All of them do have disadvantage on attacks because there's still that 30-foot radius of daylight.
So I think Inara's going to move over closer to the shadow that is squaring off against Plato. Yeah, she's going to get into a flanking position and swing out with her poison blade.
I showed you so with advantage.
Jeez, thank God for the advantage, because the first roll was a nat 1, but the second one was a 19. So we're going to go with a 19 plus 5 to hit, so 24 to hit.
24 definitely hits.
Beautiful. Nice. So that is a 4 on the die for 7 points of slashing damage.
Hell yeah. As you connect, the blade, you see the shadow kind of look towards you, watching you swing. A smile kind of spreads across its face, and then as the magic of the blade cuts into the shadow, it lets out this harsh scream as you do full damage to it due to the enchantment on your weapon. Good hit.
Amazing. She's gonna stay in place to give Plato the flanking advantage as well, and not take an attack of opportunity. So I think that's definitely it for her. Plato, how are you looking, actually? You good?
Yes, actually, I am doing quite well. I was not hurt too badly during the fight at all. So I am low on magic, and we do need to get rid of these shadows.
Yeah, I can't much help with the magic. What about the rest of the party? I know Sherrilyn's always the one that's the most beat up out of all of us.
Yes, my back did hit against a stone wall shortly earlier. Still, much improved compared to the usual.
Okay, so if no one looks in dire need of healing, then I think she's just gonna maintain the status quo.
I could use some healing, Shadow Plato says. He doesn't actually. But he's looking very hurt.
Once again, it is Shadow and Shadowlyn.
Shadow. All right. Inara, anything else in your go?
Nope, that should be it for me.
All right, Sherrilyn, that's your go.
Now, I wasn't much paying attention to this detail earlier, as I never actually landed a hit on one of these orbs. I think perhaps the first time I did. Was a certain amount of damage necessary, or was it just have to be hit by radiant damage in general?
So we have no idea. We've only ever hit it with a certain amount of radiant damage. We've never tested anything besides that.
Okay.
We know from past experience that the AC is very high. I think we've proven that it's at least 20 on these orbs. And that they're objects. Those are all the facts we know about the orbs. They're objects, they have an AC of at least 20, and we've never hit them with anything besides radiant damage plus something else.
Gotta say, don't like my odds of actually hitting anything right now with a +0 from my strength modifiers. So, I mean, I still have my proficiency bonus, but I don't know if that's really gonna help me. I'd still basically have to roll probably a 16 or higher to hit. I mean, it's worth a shot, right? Am I still within melee range of this one? That's
Yeah, absolutely.
This is Shadow Francis.
Yeah, with your spear especially.
But I'm out of his melee range.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's whipping around this shadow sensor.
Then I think perhaps the better option would be to take my chances with the orb. That is spawning more of the shadows, as I can see that it is about to pulsate with more of its shadow energy.
It sure is.
So Sherrilyn is going to use 25 feet of her movement to get next to the orb.
She's charging the orb.
She is charging the orb, and as she does so, she's going to cast Divine Favor on her spear to give it +1d4 radiant damage. So we're about to test that theory.
We're about to test a couple theories, I think.
There's a lot of stuff that's about to be tested right here, right now.
There is a good chance this blows up in my face.
Wait, we're not testing anything. We're doing exactly the same thing. What do we mean?
Yes, but now someone is really close to it.
Okay, yes.
And also, the orb order. We have not yet exactly tested our theory of which order to destroy the orbs in.
All very good points.
I just checked, and it doesn't matter. Even if I think a spear, you can also use dexterity. It wouldn't matter anyway because the modifier is the same. Oh well. So I guess we're just gonna go into it with brute force as usual. And we're just going to try and stab the shadow sphere with just a flat d20 and proficiency bonus. Okay, well, I rolled a natural 3 plus 2 for a 5. And considering how high the ACs have been on this, I'm going to assume that a 5 is not going to penetrate this orb of darkness.
Unfortunately, as your radiant tipped spear meets the edge of it, there's just a pulse as it seems to kind of harden, and you're not able to make any impact as you kind of feel yourself flail against the side of it here.
Drat. She stands in front of it, looking a bit despondent. Well, this isn't really my forte. That was a movement, bonus action, and action, so that is her turn.
I'd like to imagine everyone just watches Sherrilyn charge like so gallantly towards this orb, and all you hear is a dink.
I don't think you'd even hear that.
Really wanted that to work super badly.
I did as well, and thank you for calling me gallant. I feel like I am gallant. I do put my best foot forward.
Hope you do.
That is the southern orb right next to Sherrilyn's turn as it pulses with this internal purple light as you see these forms begin to tear themselves out of it. Francis, will you roll me a d4, please?
Please roll low, Sir Thon.
I guarantee nothing. 1.
Oh, another 1. Hell yeah. As a single shadowy form emerges from the orb with a woof, woof, as you all see a shadow dog tear through the orb and begin rushing over to Francis.
What the hell? Is one of us secretly a dog?
Inara looks behind her. Who's that supposed to be a copy of?
Oh dear gods.
Do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Inara just looks at you, waiting for more information. Like, and?
That was our family dog.
Oh hell no! I'm not killing anyone's pet.
You had a dog.
Quite a few, actually.
Francis, that's your go.
Well, seeing his beloved dead dog, Kui, jump out of the orb and kind of realizing, like, the situation at hand, he is actually going to, for the moment, ignore the shadow Francis in front of him. And he's going to cast Sacred Flame on the newly formed shadow dog.
Sounds good. That's a dex save? Alright, that's an 11 on the die, plus 2 for 13 total.
That will not save.
Ooh.
For 8 damage. Radiant damage.
That is literally exactly what you need, as the radiant damage is doubled to 16, which is the shadow's total health. What does this look like as you snap the shadow queen back out of existence?
So, seeing his beloved family dog appear out of portal, he basically just doesn't want to deal with it as longer than he needs to. So, just very quickly, you see him, like, just flick the sensor towards the shadow dog as the radiant light comes down upon it, and as quickly as it came out of the orb, it just dissipates.
Hell yeah. Any bonus action or movement?
No, he's going to stand his ground against the shadow Francis in front of him.
Heck yeah. All right. That brings us to the Shadow Francis ahead of him, as the Shadow Francis ahead of him is going to attempt to wrap the shadow tendrils that remain in this form around Francis's neck and drain the life out of him.
Also, everyone, I think the smoke is still up. If you weren't rolling healing on the end of your turns and you're within Francis range, is it 10 feet?
It's a 10-foot radius, so...
If Inara's taken any damage, roll a d4.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
D4?
believe, unless the darkness has re-envelop the area still has it's still lit up from his channel divinity. So I don't know if they still have disadvantage on those attack rolls.
They do. He does still have disadvantage in this attack roll, which is a great call because I did just roll that 20. All right, that's instead an 11 on the die plus 4 for 15 to hit.
That does not beat it.
Hell yeah, as it is unable to, with the light surrounding it, form a solid enough figure to actually do any damage to Francis here. That ends its turn, which brings us to this leftmost orb, which is going to pulse out with this bright white light. 50 feet. Sherrilyn, can I get a Constitution saving throw?
Why not?
Oh, gallant knight, what will you do?
That was an 11 on the Constitution save.
Yeah, unfortunately that is not going to do it, as you feel this white force that you saw heal the Naga hit you like a brick wall. And you are going to take 5 points of thunder damage and be pushed back 10 feet here.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
I know that orb.
Which brings us to Plato.
That's the orb from the waterfall.
Oh, really?
Francis, it's your enemy orb.
It returneth.
As opposed to...
I don't know, your friend orb? He looks at this shadow in front of him, which he hates. He hates that it's run up on him. You see he cricks his neck to the right side of his body, and a little pulse of electricity shoots down his arm as he reaches out and is going to cast Shocking Grasp on the Plato in front of him. That is, I have to roll that with a +5. Give me just one moment. That's only a 9. Does a 14 hit him?
Yeah, 14 definitely hits.
Oh, excellent. So that would be 1d8 lightning damage. 4 points of lightning damage.
And you see as the lightning damage courses through this shadow Plato, it actually doesn't seem to do the full amount, as it seems to disperse throughout the shadowy figure. And although that leaves it with very, very little health, it is still standing before you.
I think I am all out of sorcerer points, unfortunately. It can't take reactions again until the start of its next turn, or does it go next? Damn it, that always happens. I hate that. But it can't take reactions right now.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say you could run away without taking attack of opportunity from it if it can't take reactions.
No, I know that for sure, but that means that it's definitely going to attack Inara, I think. Which
You've seen them chase and target specifically just the people they're shadowing.
I've already run away from this guy once, right? Okay.
And he chased just you. Yeah.
Yes, and I think I am going to do that, even if it's just a reaction of pure fright. I look past the shadow to Inara on the other side, and I say, I'm going to test something else out. I want to go at a diagonal so that it would have to run past, away from Inara and past Francis if it wanted to follow me.
Sounds good.
As I scramble over to the half wall over here, that Sir Astalda's little scratch marks from her armor.
A cartoonish indentation.
I know his face.
With that brings us to Shadow Plato, who is going to immediately begin sprinting off of Plato, taking the most direct route, opening himself up to an attack of opportunity from Inara and Francis. Inara
Taking
first.
it.
I probably won't get over to Francis if this hits. Let's see what happens.
I'm just on standby.
So she swings out again with her poison dagger, or dagger of venom, sorry. And I believe hits it with an 18.
18 definitely hits.
For 5 more points of slashing damage.
That's definitely more than enough. As it turns to face and chase after Plato and Inara, how do you snuff this shadow out of existence?
Imagine as it runs past her, she takes advantage of the fact that it's absolutely ignoring her and swings out with a dagger, slashing it across its torso as the darkness seems to dissipate in the middle of the space.
Yes, a win for the scientific theory.
Hell yeah, that one is dead. That brings us to the 2 other orbs here, who are both going to pulse out. The one from the north, their range now 50 feet, or 60 feet on this initiative, which will only hit Sherrilyn.
Sherrilyn, you feel this pulse of like black and white energy emit from this orb and then overcome you for a second. I need an intelligence. Oh, sorry. No, this one is wisdom. Wisdom saving throw, please.
Whoa, this monochrome demon. My God, Sherrilyn. Sherrilyn rolled a natural 2. But I have advantage. So from my channel divinity, which is going to make that a 18 plus 2 for a dirty 20.
Oh, hell yeah, that is going to save. Whatever effect this was trying to take hold of you does not take hold as you're able to resist. All right, now can I get an intelligence saving throw as the last orb pulses out here?
Shanlon's gonna make every single saving throw possible.
I have a feeling this one might also get me. Let me double check.
Oh, good point. Thank you so much. As it pulses out now, 60-foot radius. Oh, it's getting Francis too.
Oh yeah.
Can I get an
Plato,
intelligence saving throw?
Why'd you do
From
that?
Francis,
I'm sorry.
Plato, and Sherrilyn?
Based on Sherrilyn's things, though, I think we do have advantage. Was it intelligence, charisma, and wisdom?
For this saving throw, Sherrilyn rolled a 12 plus 2 for 14 on her end save.
It's going to be 21 for me.
I guess natural 20 for Francis.
Oh boy. Who needs the water?
Everyone succeeded. As this orb pulses out with this deep purple energy and courses through you all, again, no effect takes hold. As you feel this like sinister energy, this like devious, sinister energy kind of course through you for just a moment, take your breath away, and then pass through you. That brings us to the start of initiative again with Inara.
Okay, so only one shadow left, and that's Francis's shadow, but seeing how they only really focus on their copies, Inara's actually going to turn 180 degrees and face the quartet of orbs. She raises her hand and will cast Fireball at the one closest, the southernmost one, which is closest to her. And that is 13 on the die, plus 5, so 18 to hit.
Unfortunately, an 18 will not hit the orb as it just sails wide across the sky here.
Damn.
As you swear, the orb like gets smaller. Like you aim and you know you're gonna hit, but as it's like coursing over, you swear in like the light coursed by the fireball, the shadow shrinks a bit, and the orb just a little too small to be hit by your shot.
Yeah, you hear Inara cussing, son of a bitch, and should I move? I really don't want to get closer to the other orbs. I do not want to get within the range as their range seems to grow. No, she's gonna maintain her position. Keeping an eye on Sherrilyn.
You'd guess their range probably grows out to 600 feet, given the previous orb strength.
Right?
You mean 60 feet?
600. At the edge. Right now it's at 60, but the fully powered orbs at each part of the oasis covered 600 feet. So these are like powering up. You like see them gaining power. Right now, definitely at 60. All right, Sherrilyn, that's your go. You're right on top of this orb that just spawned a shadow dog, as it seems to be birthing something anew, growing inside of it. What do you do?
Yes, well, her butt has made another indentation in yet another wall. But we are not deterred. So, with still a chance to hit this orb with radiant damage, though the chance is slim, we will take that chance. And again, approach the southernmost orb, and again, try and stab it.
I believe in you.
It's 11 plus 2 for 13.
Unfortunately, a 13 will not hit the orb.
Do you want another chance at it?
I have a plus 2 to hit. I mean, if you want to try
you'd have to roll
it.
an 18 or 19. That's rough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this was my last spell slot, so I mean, obviously Francis has the best chance of hitting these orbs.
You know what? I'll use my inspiration. I'm not going to use the spell slot, but I'll use my inspiration. I want to see if you can do it. We got to take the chance at the radiant. We got to take the chance at the radiant damage. Your divine favor is still going on, right?
Yeah, it will continue for 10 rounds.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Give it a try. Come on.
Now it's an 8 plus 2 for a 10.
Ah, damn. Well,
thank you for trying. Okay, so that being said, oh god, I don't think there's any way she's going to be able to get out of the range of all of these. I mean, she could move out of the range of a couple of them though. So I think given the orb is probably not going to lash out at her if she tries to move away from it, fingers crossed, she's going to use 15 more feet of movement to just move potentially out of range of this orb that slammed into her with thunder damage. Was it this one that did thunder damage? Oh, that one she can't get out of range of. She'll get out of range of the northern one though, and that's where she'll end her turn.
Sherrilyn, as you end your turn and you see this orb in front of you begin to birth, I need you to roll me a d4 as you feel its intentions fall upon you.
Okay, dice, don't fuck with me here, all right? Of course. I rolled a 4. They're working for the enemy.
As you all see, what does your father look like, Sherrilyn?
I'm so glad you asked. As a shadow figure that's relatively featureless, relatively overweight, like a beer belly looking guy with a chin scruff. It would kind of look like just little spiky stubble bits on its chin, and a mostly bald head.
As you see 4 of them emerge, rage filling their being as they all begin to charge you. They all enter initiative order.
So that's where you were hiding.
Wow, I just rolled 3 8s in a row. What are the chances?
About 5%.
Statistically speaking.
Alright, that's the summoning orb's turn, which brings us to... Francis, it's your go.
Oh boy. This is like... Because the problem is I only have 1 spell slot left. And I don't want to bank off the fact that it's just like any... Like, it has to be radiant damage, because I have Scorching Ray as well, so I can hit at least up to 3 orbs. But now I still have my shadow to deal with, and then 4 of Sherrilyn's fathers.
I think at this point, Sherrilyn is better served protecting the party from ads, and perhaps Francis should go for the orbs. And
Yeah.
If we're not sure about what type of damage affects them, maybe give Inara another chance to hit them with something and then make the decision about how to use your spell slot.
I mean, I had to deal with this shadow in front of me anyway, so... Yeah, seeing the new foes emerge from the orb, Francis is going to kind of like set his gaze on the orb, but before he starts heading off, he is going to cast Word of Radiance around him.
Yeah, is that a con save from this guy?
Con save for the shadow.
That's 1d6, right?
Yeah, 1d6.
Okay, alright. Con save, got a +1 to this. That is a 5 on the die for 6 total.
He will not beat that. For 1 radiant damage.
It doubles to 2, but unfortunately still not enough to clear the shadow in front of you. Y'all, this is about to get really bad.
Yeah, this is gonna get really fucking rough.
Kind of mimicking what Plato had tried with his shadow, and knowing that the shadow is temporarily at disadvantage to hit him, Francis is going to try and like lead him closer to Inara so that Inara can get a swipe at him and like finish him off.
Yeah, he's gonna swipe out, take an attack of opportunity at disadvantage here. He's definitely gonna miss. The first one was a miss already. As you're able to escape without issue here, Francis, which will bring us to Shadow Francis' turn, who will sprint directly across. It is actually going to stay out of Inara's path here as it takes the most direct, but it will run through Sherrilyn's attack of opportunity range if Sherrilyn would like to take an attack.
Yes, I suppose I could do that. I'm not exactly going to be able to cover anybody from where I'm standing right now, so might as well try. My God, this negative to my strength is very difficult to work with. 12 to hit.
Okay, so 12 will just hit. There. As it sprints across, chasing Francis. Go ahead and roll damage, including that radiant. We roll the radiant separate because that's doubled.
Yeah.
And the other stuff is halved. As this weapon is non-magical.
Okay, so 1 stabbing damage, and then radiant. 4 radiant damage.
Oh, hell yeah, double to 8, as that is more than enough to wipe this Shadow Francis off the face of the earth. Which is great, because the healing pulse is about to go off, and that shadow would have now been in range.
as you
Finally.
cleanse it prior to it being rebuilt. As it brings us to the orb's turn. That orb is now at a 70-foot range, as it is going to pulse out. It's going to be hitting everybody.